Happy Wood Dragon Year, everyone. Let's get started. This might be a little longer because, and I'm not going to put the video just yet. You know how I do this. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Wood Dragon Year and give you some of my predictions before we did the reading for you based on your astrology. Yay! So this is going to be a little extra long video. And I hope I can do this really fast and share some of the information that I know about dragons. So I'm going to start by saying, and I always have to preface everything by saying I'm not a Chinese astrologer. Hello. But what I do know is archetypes. And I am an Advent like studier of symbols. And of course, I do get information from my unwavering knowing. And that's the only way that I can describe how I receive information. So, generally speaking, the year of the dragon is best seen through the eyes of someone who actually is a dragon. That's how I know these archetypes. So, I've studied like people's um, Chinese, like astrological animal zodiacs. And so I'm familiar through that lens of what the year can potentially bring. I don't know anything about the elements, although I think we can all use our logic in knowing what a water dragon, for example, would be like, or what a fire dragon would be like, etc. So this year we have the wood dragon. So they say that generally people who were born under dragon years tend to be very energetic. They are excitable. They can have, yes, short tempers, and they can be a little stubborn. But people also born under dragon year tend to be very honest and very sensitive and very brave. So we've all seen the movies, right? When there's a dragon, they're also very loyal to their masters. So they tend to be sincere and often their opinions are valued, but they hardly ever share their opinions. So one thing that is said about those born under the dragon year is that they tend to be a little bit of worry warts too. In other words, they worry a lot. They usually don't have to worry so much, but I feel like that's how the energy is for this dragon year. It's like we are being told to worry, 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 and then at the end, it's going to be okay. There's been so much hype about revolutions, and I'm sure you are familiar with that term by now because I don't think I am turning anything on without somebody mentioning the word revolution, whether it's because of the Aquarian age or whether it's because of Pluto going into some aspect or whatever in the United States chart that was similar to the revolutionary period, whatever. Um, I just keep hearing that word revolution, revolution, revolution. And it's being banted about in such an unsavory way, in my opinion, because a lot of people seem to be excited about that. A lot of people are saying revolution as if that's like something to be celebrating because in their like in their world, that a revolution means things are going to change. Well, you know what a revolution means to me? Wars, pain, unnecessary deaths, burning, destruction. I mean, if there's one thing that's going on is with this word revolution is that people are doing some sort of spiritual bypass and getting to the end of that word instead of understanding that that energy that we're putting out there is actually what's causing all these wars. So I'm putting it out there because this is also part of that dragon energy. And I feel that during the later part of this dragon year, we're going to be feeling a lot more fortunate. And so that worry wart energy is going to dissipate by the end of the dragon year, which would be next year, not this year, next year. So I think ultimately we're going to have that peace of mind. And I think it's because we're going to see, oh, revolution means more blood. And I think that when we see something escalating of that nature, and I'm recording this a little early, I'm recording this on January 29th, only because I looked at my schedule and I won't be able to record it later. um, but yeah, I think that when people start seeing what that word actually means, they're not, they're going to step back and say, oh, there's got to be a different way to effectuate change. It doesn't have to be a revolution. So again, I see by the end of the Wood Dragon year peace. Um, and by that I do mean that the wars will have calmed down, but it's towards the end of the dragon year. There will be that sense of contentment and that sense of peace. But in the meantime, we do have to deal with some major egos in the first part of the dragon year, right? Even mentioning dragon, you know that something is going to be seen. So there's, make no mistake about it, the fact that it's a dragon year, irrespective of what element the dragon is in, means that there's going to be also a great celestial sort of body system overlooking humanity. And out of all the animals also in this Chinese astrology, this is the only one that's fantastical. This is the only one that's not quote unquote real. And that's the dragon. So, this idea that this particular animal supposedly never existed, but that's debatable certainly amongst everyone listening to this audio, is that the dragon year can symbolize the return of magic, the return of the fantastical, the return of what perhaps was seen before being seen again. But it almost feels like a once in a lifetime engagement. So, generally speaking, the dragon years also symbolize, again, and I'm basing this on my archetypal understanding, it symbolizes growth because it brings in allegedly the dragons bring in a lot of riches, and they do bring in harmony and virtues, right? That's why I feel like by the end of this year of the dragon, we will have that peace that we really do crave, and we will have change. Hopefully, however, it won't be through revolutionary means, in the traditional sense of that word. So, my understanding from when I have read certain mythology is that dragons are usually seen being winged or flying serpents, but there's definitely flying. And there's an aspect of it that's representative of the image of the unconscious, right? It's this air energy dancing with the dragon, and the air is the unconscious. It's what we cannot see so readily, but it is there. And that's because the dragon is, in the esoteric communities, it's considered to be a creature that moves in and out of our psyche. And it can go into the darkest aspect of who we are, as well as the lightest aspect of who we are. The Greeks used to refer to the dragons as a symbol of being alive, meaning of having life, because they would see the eyes of the serpent to be fiery. And through those fiery eyes, they can sharply see through the unconscious. And that's what the mythologies, as I recall reading some of them, would give me that impression. One of the reasons why they say that magic, again, is returning in 2024 with the appearance of this wood dragon year is that in the occult circles, dragons are a symbol of alchemy. They actually symbolize magic. So dragons are inherently have a layered existence, and they have multiple powers. And these powers are in the elements of play even, or having a big role in the mysteries of magic. So that's really important because I think that our collective desires for peace or our collective desires for change can be done in a magical way. Again, it doesn't need to be through these destructive um, traditional understandings of revolutions. Revolutions can be a group of people praying and causing a shift in the Middle East. That's revolutionary. So again, I think the dragon energy is bringing that to the forefront a little bit more. And again, even though it's a wood dragon year, for me, dragons have always displayed elements of water, elements of air, elements of earth, fire, light, storm, wind, even electricity. So they encompass a lot of different elements that go, in my opinion, beyond the four that we're used to um, and understand, which is the water, air, earth, and fire. They really go beyond that. And yeah, they can be terrifying. Dragons can have a terrifying aspect to them. But in alchemy, in the occult circles, they're described as sort of mercurial creatures with a very active engagement, like I said, within the light and the dark spheres. So dragons are also known as quite unique in that way. And one terminology that I remember sort of reading, and I don't think that people refer to dragons this much, but they're also referred to as the pearls of wisdom. So when I remember that sort of moniker on the dragon, I suspect that 2024, we're going to gain a lot of wisdom. We're going to learn so much about each other, so much about the human race, so much about even potentially fantastical aspects of the universe, that we're going to gain wisdom that we're not going to be able to just shake off so easily. Um, and in this way, as pearls of wisdom, it also reminds me that dragons are the guardians of treasures. And so they, in essence, hold some sort of key for humanity that only if we master the alchemy within us, right? The dark and light aspects within us and outside of us, only then will the dragon give us um, those treasures that it's guarding, um, because we've earned it. We've earned it with balancing the light and the dark. I personally feel that dragons are already personally giving me gifts and treasures, because one of the reasons why I wanted to do this moon and tarot engagement is not only to regulate the emotions, but ironically, in ancient times, especially with ancient astrology, the 2 points of intersection of the moons when it orbits and the eclipses, they're called the lunar nodes. They were also known as dragon points. Dragon points. So the lunar nodes are known as dragon points, certainly within the Vedic astrology. And these dragon points we understand in the Western tropical astrology as the North Node and the South Node. In Vedic astrology, it's the North Node is the head of the dragon, and the descending South Node is the tail of the dragon. So you see here that the dragon is playing a pivotal point, certainly in my personal life, because I have this Aquarian North Node. So I've understood that that's where I'm heading. But also because it's a 2024 dragon year, I see the dragon as assisting us with these pivotal points in humanity. And it's, you know, The North Node and the South Node in classic astrology are the points of calculation for both the solar and lunar eclipses. So this year's solar and lunar eclipses are very important. And everything I'm sharing here with the dragons is something that can be applied and somehow plugged into those solar eclipses this year. So watch out for that. And there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to be at this pivotal cross point in humanity, because we have to decide where we're going. This is the year. We have to decide, are we going to follow the North Node, the head of the dragon, or are we going to follow the South Node, its tail? The South, of course, being old paradigm, and the North being the new paradigm moving forward. So, very much like the astrological chart, the best course of action for humanity, of course, is to follow that North Node. But we are, like I said, at a choice point. Humanity is at a choice point, and the dragon is here to help us sort of almost like push us towards that North Node. Because people hardly ever pay attention to the tail of the dragon. Although when you look at the art that we're going to use, the tarot cards that we're going to use, the tail of these dragons are actually quite important. But anyway, I digress. Focus, Ingrid, focus. So my point in saying that the issue with the North Node and the South Node is that humanity is at a choice point, and the choice to be made is between two very simple concepts: the light or the dark. Again, the dragon moves within our psyche between those two aspects of ourselves. So, from a global perspective, humanity is being asked to make a choice between the light or the dark. So, there's no doubt that in 2024, there is going to be a big battle that ensues, a big one. And this is just me tapping in. I feel that the characteristics of alliances that will lead humanity toward a more peaceful trajectory are ones that we've never seen. In other words, it's alliances that we've never actually seen before. And when we observe this from our happy place, um, right, because we want to observe what's going on globally, because it eventually will affect us, we actually won't believe what's going on. Um, we won't believe those that want to support the old paradigm. Actually, when we look at Israel, it's amazing that they're the ones that want to continue something that's just in my head. I can't grapple my head around what's going on in the Middle East. But anyway, once we observe this and we see the choice point and we see these alliances that are forming that we never could have ever imagined would form, when we get over that aspect, that's when we're going to get those pearls of wisdom that the dragon energy is here to bring us this year. Okay. We're going to get that. So the general traits, again, associated with this Chinese dragon archetypes are, and I don't think I mentioned it before, but when someone is born under a dragon year, they say that this person is going to be very independent. They're going to be courageous. They're going to have bravery. I mean, these things will come very naturally to them. They have valor. And as I mentioned before, or if I didn't mention it before, they could be a little vengeful, right? That's when the ego can come in. So we are going to see some energies play out on the global sphere with people being very vengeful. We already are seeing it, but it's going to ramp up the minute the dragon year enters, right? So just like I said, regulate your emotions, stay within your divine essence, and just watch it from afar, because once all of this is done, Chinese astrologers foretell that dragon years will inevitably bring blessings. Um, all dragons are actually considered to be earth elements, even though they have these different characteristics. So I just wanted to point that out. So this year's guidance is for us to make sure that we're not so busy that we lose touch with reality, we lose touch with nature, and we lose touch with what really matters. Dragons are always have a tendency to focus sort of like on the material versus the spiritual. That's why they hoard the pearls and their gold, right? There again, I look at archetypes, so they're hoarding that. So we want to tap into the more positive attributes of the dragon, which can be very generous and a very wise creature, right? So we don't want to stay focused on the material aspects of our life, or work so hard that we miss the wisdom of engaging with others. Again, dragons are going to show us the path of virtue. They're here to show us the path of honor. And when they refuse to, or when we refuse to ignore wrongdoings, which I feel collectively there will be a rise of people that just, we can't take it anymore. We're not going to be able to see the destruction anymore. I suspect that that's when many of our energetic dragons will rise to do the right thing, to help us do the right things, to help us do the right things. One of the other characteristics of people born under the dragon year is that they're very good listeners, and they hardly ever communicate. So they're very active kind of energies, and they act, even though they wait to act, they inevitably act. So you're going to see this also play out in the global sphere. But one of the guidance that I can share with you that I think the dragons are wanting to share with us is for us to listen, to plan, and then take action. Then take action. Um, Again, their characters are and their archetypes are such that they're going to give us success one way or the other. It just may not be in a sound way, and it might not be in an expected way, because again, this is the only astrological animal in the Chinese zodiac that is fantastical. That's not real. So we simply may not understand what's going on. But when those things starts happening and we're like lost, completely lost, but yet everything turns out okay, that's dragon energy. That's dragon energy. Again, the dragons are here to reward us. That's why I have the two coins up there um, on the screen, so you can see that. Oh, and I forgot to mention that as you listen to me, it's a good idea to look at that, because I feel like sometimes when you're listening to someone and you're, I don't know, doing your dishes or whatever, you kind of get out of the zone. So I put the two coins of the dragons up there so you can really start absorbing what I'm saying and sort of allow your eyes to see how these dragons move. And dragons are, you know, they curl when they're up in the air. They move sort of like circular, even sort of in a very circular motion. And we have to kind of learn how to move like the dragon moves this year. Very fierce, very focused, very intentional, yet mutable, yet movable, etc. Okay? So just again, from that global perspective, this is going to be a year where um, we're going to see nation leaders be very temperamental. We're going to see nation leaders be brave. You're going to see these leaders um, sort of have short tempers, but we're not going to see them communicating. Why? Because dragons don't communicate that well. They act. So we are going to be left in the dark. One could say that's as per usual, but it's even more so now. People are entering to wars. People are sending ammunitions, and there's very little communication going on with the citizens of those countries, right? We just know we need millions and millions and millions of dollars for Ukraine. We need millions and millions and millions of dollars for, Israel. You're not explaining what the hell you're doing with all that money, right? It's just weapon, 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 or is there something else going on, right? So we're not going to see nation leaders talking to their citizens. We're going to see a lot of action. And that might happen also with you in your life. Like for me, I feel like, I don't know, it's just been action, action, action. And when I go see someone or meet them for dinner, it's like really quick. And then I kind of come back home and do some. So I have to be careful because the dragon is telling us all to be more social than workaholics. Anyway, I digress again. So again, we won't see too much discourse between the world leaders. What we're going to see is a lot of action. Um, and this is very much in tune with that word dragon year. So there's going to just be a lot of that going on, meaning a lot of action that we're not going to be privy to the details of. There will also be, I feel, lots of good works because dragons do good work. I feel like they generally are, again, very generous. Um, and the more good works that we do, the more abundance and success you're going to receive. I think that was one of many sort of unconscious movements of me giving a lot of my time to these offerings that I normally would not do. Certainly not basically for free. But I just wanted to do something good, to do something that could help people, to do something that could help us all focus on our emotions and regulate them. I'm not somebody that's afraid of emotions, though I can tell you in the past, what is this, 2024, in the past 4 years, I don't think I've cried as much ever. If you know me, you probably think I'm more of a dragon energy than I am. I was just a fish. I was just like crying all the time. And it would also annoy me because I cry in video sessions with groups, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? I'd hang up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just snot in tears, snot in tears. But it was good. It was cathartic, and it gave me a strength with emotions and being comfortable with displaying my emotions that I never thought I would ever do, um, ever. So that was one of my impetus, was to do good and allow people that level of freedom to regulate their emotions and cry if they have to, scream if they have to, um be joyful, be happy. I want to focus on those types of emotions personally, and I'm trying to have everyone else around me do that. But one thing I won't tolerate and one thing I cannot stand is someone telling another person not to be, quote unquote, emotional. That's not the point of regulating the emotions. Regulating the emotions is to acknowledge that you're having them and then be able to utilize that emotion for something that's to you, beneficial to you. So that said, although this is not the year to be soft hearted, because again, dragons are not necessarily softies. However, it is a year to be within peace. It is a year to be more like how the dragon moves in the air, which is very swift. I always feel like dragons move in a very suave way, unless, of course, they're going into battle. If they're going into battle, it's very direct, it's not suave, everything in their path will be destroyed. That's not where we want to go. That would be that revolutionary energy that I keep sensing people wanting to have. And I think there's just another way to do that. So again, because the dragons, pearls, gold, etc., you see this in a lot of myth and a lot of stories. I expect that there will be prosperity here, flourishing for people, but again, towards the end of this dragon year, not right now. although it is flourishing right now, but I feel like it's even more so towards the end of the dragon year 2025. But I did want to mention something. Wood, right? Because it's a wood dragon year. Wood can become rotted if it's chopped and just laying there. It can become rotted with water, right? So too much emotional waters may not be good. However, water is very good for trees, which are made of wood, right? So in that sense, and maybe that's the connection for me of regulating the emotions so that we have roots here that we can that will be long lasting, that will be long lasting. And I think whatever any of us does for this wood dragon year, if we regulate our emotions, I believe we're going to have long lasting prosperity and abundance. So if you want, um, I think it's a good idea to um, balance your sort of like your emotional system, um, but not with unnecessary or negative emotions, obviously. Let's see, what else am I thinking? Okay, it's an auspicious year, and yeah. Oh, that's my stomach growling. Sorry about that, guys. And again, we can expect that there's going to be some unexplained supernatural event that may occur, and I know it always occurs, but I feel like it might be more global, or there might be more people seeing, not the fake ones. There's something here supernatural, and that's all part of this magical experience that we're living with this dragon year. But don't forget, dragons carry pearls and gold. I keep saying that because I just I don't have anything in writing as I'm speaking to you, but the pearls and gold can be good luck charms. So I'd wear that. I'd wear that. So if you want to be lucky, put on your pearls and your gold. Okay? Because I think that those two things will bring you luck. And yes, I think charms work. Um, and like I said before, it's considered a social year. And oh, I think this is it before I go and do your astrology for your my hits. Oh my God, I just forgot. Okay. Before I forget, I was gonna say, what's gonna happen with nature? Well, I do see, because of this dragon year, some natural disasters, same thing that's been going on for years, right? There's gonna be continued rain, lots of water, flooding, and I do see fire, guys. I know we've seen more water disasters, but I do see fire. So maybe, we watch out for those things, and keep praying that these things not occur. But that's what I have seen. I don't know if it's connected to that dragon energy. I feel that it is, but again, it's a wood fire. It's a wood dragon. It's not a fire dragon, so I don't know. Um, I don't really understand that much about water and fire combinations, etc. So, all right. So the next segment that I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how the dragons are going to affect your Chinese astrological chart. So you may want to take a notebook and write some things down. Look online to see what year you were born, and look online to see what is your Chinese astrological animal sign, because that's what I'm going to be tapping into as we move on with this video audio. Okay. If you are a rat, this dragon year makes your dreams finally come true, and that's because you've been working at them. So it's going to bring you financial rewards. Some of them you deserved, and others are a little bit unexpected. So that says, seize every moment that you have and use any prosperity that you've gained this year to build a stronger ground for your future. This dragon year may actually test those that are born under an ox year. It seems like nothing is going to be going your way, but I don't want you to lose faith because I want you to stay grounded in prayer. When things get hectic and intense, go to meditation. All right? So if stuff is not going your way, pray, go to meditation. You may not be in complete flow this year, but your willingness is what counts. For those who were born under a tiger year, this wood dragon year gives you the opportunity to fulfill many of your ambitious dreams, all right? So you may be moving either to a different location, and that's because opportunities are in that other location just waiting for you elsewhere, all right? So it may not be a good year for you to hesitate, but it's a great year to pursue big dreams and greater opportunities. I think that the wood dragon year is going to bring the rabbit a lot of success, even though the rest of the world is going to go through some turbulent times. So it's important for you, rabbit, to consider the welfare of others since you're going to be one of the lucky ones. Pay attention to the magic, rabbits, because you may actually be one of those few signs that can actually engage with the mysterious forces of the dragon. If you're a dragon in a dragon year, you are extraordinarily productive this year. You can be rash, you will be bold, and so long as you're doing something with focus and purpose, you're going to be successful. So everything that I mentioned earlier about dragons applies to you. Happy dragon! If you were born under a snake year, it's important that this dragon year you be a little bit more adventurous and don't get too caught up in like the magical affluence of the dragon. So your inclination is going to be to try to pursue that magic. Nah, not for you, snake. It's important for you to discern information that you receive and then follow your hunch and then act. No magic. For those born under a horse year and you are a horse, dragon years are going to be very positive for you. You're one of the few ones that get that lucky streak all the time, right? Those skillful engagements are going to finally bring you some luck. So wear your pearls, put on your gold, because it's favorable for you. You're going to have a lot of opportunities, and those opportunities are going to be improving your quality of life. Dragons and sheep. I know that doesn't look like a sheep, but that's a sheep. So for you, if it feels strange for me to say dragons and sheep, that's because this year is going to be a little strange for you. You have to come up with some work, some plans, in order to cooperate with others, even though you're going to be very reluctant to do so. So don't fight time, let time pass. A monkey in a dragon year, maybe not the best of times for your monkeys, because you guys tend to be a little rivalry, so you might be feeling a lot of competition around you. So for those of you that are monkeys, just take care of your household. Keep everything at a personal level. Don't compete, contribute. All right? That avoids the turbulence you might feel. For those of you born under a rooster year, the dragon year is giving you some guidance. The guidance is all about balancing. The more balance you have, the more momentum you have for success. So there are moments that you're going to be disappointment and other moments that you're not. So if all else fails, balance. That's the key for you. It's important for you to ground with that and stick to your values. For those of you born under a dog year, you're getting one ginormous warning from the dragon, which means be careful of those get-rich-quick schemes. Discernment also is key for you, so be cautious and wise when it comes to money matters. It is a particularly favorable year for you, according to Chinese astrology, but just remember, be discerning. For the piggy wiggies, dragon years, doesn't do any good, doesn't do any bad. It's kind of a neutral energy, so things are just not going to affect you. So you're like this incredible observer. So for me, you're like the wisdom keepers, because you are observing the drama, but you're not letting it affect you. So in that sense, you're lucky. All right, guys, so we are going to do your Dragon Lunar Year reading. So this would be a reading for the entire Lunar Dragon Year. And I have a little surprise for you. I have Dragon Oracle cards based on the art of, I think the camera is this way, so I changed this contraption thing. The art of Amy Brown. And I have to tell you, when my mom passed away, I had to clear out a lot of things that I had in the house. One of the things that I cleared out is that I used to have collection of Amy Brown's fairy like figurine things. I had hundreds of fairies in my old room at my mom's place. And what I did is I gave all of the figurines, not all of them, I probably kept like 5 out of the hundreds, but I gave them to kids in the neighborhood, my little cousins, these were delicate too. Some of them were like porcelain made. Some of my aunties were like, yeah, you can't give this to a child. They're gonna break it. But I couldn't throw away the fairies, and I had literally no space to put them in where I live now. But I was really sad when I had to let them go, but I know that they went to like happy homes, and definitely all the girls and the people in the building, the kids, the little girls, they were all girls that I gave this to. They were super happy to have little fairies. So that made me feel a little good, but I still felt super sad that I had to give them away. And I've been a really huge fan of Amy Brown's artwork for like the longest time. And last year, she launched in conjunction with someone else. Well, I don't know if it was last year, but the copyright says 2023. They launched, dun dun dun, For the Love of Dragons. So we're going to do a Lunar Dragon Year reading with one of my favorite fairy artists, Amy Brown's work. I'm super excited. All of these cards are actually have dragons in them, and this one definitely is a 2023 copyright. I don't know what this one is. Yeah, this is 2003. That's how long I've been a huge fan of hers. And I do have several like collection of artwork, fantastical artworks from people that I love. And I did give some of my books away too. I just don't know what to tell you. It's just when you go through depressions or whatever, you know, and you got to clear out the space because you got to turn in the apartment, and there's all this estate stuff that I had to do. So I just released some of the books. And I remember I started doing this right away, like immediately when my mom was like in a hospital. And I remember when my sister and I return to the apartment, she says to me, like, what are all those books in the corner? And I was like, oh, those are my books. I'm just gonna get rid of them, throw them away, etc. And she was like, you can't give away your fairy stuff. Because she identifies me so much with all these collections that I've had for so many years. But I was like, I don't even have space to put my books. So a lot of my books are actually in corners, and clearly I need to find a bigger space. But all that to say that I'm super excited that I'm going to be doing this reading. So it is going to be an astrological reading. I would suggest that, and I did have like a journal PDF entry that you could use, but I will suggest that for this particular lunar year reading, that you do look at your moon sign, your sun sign, and your ascendant sign, and kind of follow along to see what themes are arising. And I would just take notes. So this is going to be a reading for the upcoming dragon year and what it has in store for you, with Arch Larimar deck, and as I just mentioned, for the Love of Dragons deck. So that's the deck, and let's begin. This is a particularly long video, but you know, I have fun doing these things. I did shuffle these before, but I'll just give it one more shuffle. And again, just listen to the messages. Have your pen, you know, pause this video if you want. Have your notebook ready, your pen ready, because when you're listening to these readings, whatever information that you gather as your own intuitive individual, you know, self, your own intuition, your own instincts, write that out. Write it out, and see what develops from that. See what guidance you get, because that, you know, keep it around and toward as you're moving along. Oh, is this one of the lessons that I'm learning? Is this one of the guidance that I received for this dragon year? This dragon year is powerful. It is potent. So yeah, let's begin. And I'll give this one more shuffle. Oh, I'm so excited to use this. Done. All right. And as always, we begin with Aries. Again, check, you want to write out your moon sign, sun sign, and ascendant. If you know, if you don't know the ascendant, it's not the end of the world. But I did put in the handout some space for you to write that, okay? So how should we begin? I'm so excited about the dragon cards. I think we'll begin with the dragon cards, and then I'll pull the Arch and see. All right, Aries, what do you got here? You've got the Waymaker. So for me, when I see this card, the dragons are literally showing you the way. It's going to be up to you whether or not you want to pursue it, whether or not you want to follow that way, but they are literally showing you the way, right? You're gonna, my impression is that for the Aries energies, you're going to actually be receiving a lot of hints as to what direction to go into, which way to go. Obviously, it's up to you, but you're gonna be getting very clear signs with this dragon card coming up as to what direction is for your highest good. That's awesome. So remember, you're going to get clear signs. Let's see what the, look at that. purple. These are ideas coming forward. This is literally having to, if anything, this is a clear sign that follow the path of integrity. Follow the path of integrity as you move forward. Not that you wouldn't, but there are certain situations where we have to have integrity with ourselves. So you might be invited to a party or a vacation. As a matter of fact, in Vedic astrology, I'll give you an example. In Vedic astrology, I am an Aries rising, which they consider it to be the most important of the, they consider all of it important, obviously, but they go by the Aries, the rising sign, versus tropical will focus on the sun sign. So I was just invited to go to an event to New Mexico here in the United States. And for me, I'm getting a clear sign to go to Europe. There's something that I need to sort of pursue there. I know exactly where I need to go and where I'm being pulled there. And so me being invited to New Mexico doesn't stay within my integrity of the ideas, right? The swords is the ideas of the ideas and the completion that I feel I need to do as part of my journey this year. So I'm going to follow that dragon energy. I'm going to follow that guidance because I am being shown the way. So something similar like that would be happening with you. If Aries is one of the signs that resonates with you. I don't know. How do I do this? How do I do this? You know, I had a friend of mine just recently say, how do you, you're like promoting other people's artwork and just use your cards. And I'm like, I love other people's artwork. I love other people's like oracle decks. I don't feel like I would be an artist if I didn't appreciate other artists and other artwork. Oops, okay. We're going to Taurus next. Who's your dragon? The Brave. Oof. So for you, the dragons are giving you bravery. They're telling you, why is this? Oh, that's the lighting from. Let's see if I could lower that. You still see that. So, oh, that's better actually. So you're being guided to, this reminds me of the Fool card, like take a risk. Live on the edge a little bit. Be a little bit more risky than usual. Don't worry about don't be fearful because you're definitely protected here. You're definitely being guided. So don't live in the space have to lower that light because it's bothering me. Don't live in the space of fear so much, right? Like you want to just take the risk, be brave, I would even look at the definition of brave. What does it mean? What does it mean for you? What does bravery mean for you? Because when you've got dragon energy and the word brave is anywhere near there, I don't think there's anything that's going to stop you for this dragon year moving forward. So I say go for it. I say definitely go for it, and don't be fearful because they got you, girl. They got you, guy. They got you. So don't be fearful. Don't live in that space of fear. Now the lighting situation has for some reason annoyed me, but look at that. So sometimes to be brave, we do need to study a little bit. We do need to just a little bit look at what it is that you need to study. And I also feel this is obviously because the Prince of Pentacles came up. I do feel this is about money. This is about your body. This is about engaging your finances. So maybe it's take a risk with money. Maybe it's take a risk with some sort of body engagement, like I don't know, starting a new health kick or being brave with taking care of your health. You know what I mean? But it's definitely be brave with your investments, right? Because when we have the Prince of Pentacles, this is about investing in your future. This is why he's studious. This is why he is in, you know, doing research, calling in information. So when we have brave with us, it's like, be brave with the money, be brave with your investment. Don't be shy about what? Investing in yourself. Don't be shy about investing in yourself. And this is great because as a Taurian energy, and we're going into this dragon field, this is about wealth. This is about finances and wealth. And the dragon energy, if they're pulling this card with this energy, the dragon energy is going to say, we got you. We just need you to be a little bit more risky. We've got you. And you can and should invest in yourself and learn a new skill set. Learn a new skill set that is for your future investment. That's a great thing to keep in mind as you are traversing the year. And I have to split my videos in half all the time because they're too long. This is 15 minutes in, and I know I've already done the other pieces before, but you know. Anyway, I hope you guys are having fun with all of this. I'm trying to not block the, there you go, not block this thing. Next one we're having is Gemini. Gemini, the adventurer. Yeah, so you're being guided to take trips, to go on voyages, to go into the space of, let's see what other new lands are out there. That's literally what I just got from this. And because she's standing in the tail end of this dragon, I also feel that some of these voyages may be actually to reconnect with your roots, right? To reconnect with your family, to reconnect with your roots. There's something here about that that's available to you for this dragon year. Let's see what it's coming with. Transforming experiences. Yeah, there's something here about these adventures that you're being guided to take. And I suddenly became very serious because you've been working Gemini energy, you've been working really hard. You've been working really hard to make money. This is what it felt like. And sometimes we need to take a pause. And if we're not seeing the adventure in everything that we've been planting and everything that we've been seeding, it's the dragons are saying, hey, let's go. Let's be in an adventure. Don't take life so seriously that you're just standing there just waiting for the fruits of your labor. And by the way, this is a 9 card, also connected to family. So there's something here with like family for you, and the dragon energy kind of telling you, go on this adventure. See what else is at your foundation that you can literally mine for gold. Beautiful. Cancer, we've got the Sovereign card here for you. I have to look at this card. This dragon is literally looking at the fae, the fairy. It's almost as if the dragon is trying to take cue, right? Take its next move from you, from your sovereign being, understanding that you are a co-creator in all of this. You know, Cancer, we have to be careful about being so dismissive of your own authority. I almost feel like the dragon energy is here at your beck and call. Whatever you want, they will give you. But it's got to be from your command. You can't like wait around for it to be delivered to you. You have to remember that you are also an active co-creator here. That's what I got from that. Look at that. I mean, hello. You're the co-creator. You're receiving blessings for this dragon year. You are the star. You are being placed at the, I almost feel like at the stage for you to command, for you to declare your own sovereignty, right? And only then, once you do that, only then will these blessings follow you, you know? These blessings will literally open up. And I also feel this dragon energy will deliver. But you have to, I almost feel like it's a self-worth thing. You have to know that you're worthy of it. By divine right, right? This is what sovereignty is. By divine right, you are worth it, worth it. But what a beautiful energy to accompany you for this dragon lunar year. You get the stars, baby. That's awesome. That's a great combination. I love that. Next, we have Leo energy. We are just still in the window. I'm recording this still in the window of the full moon in Leo energy. So you are the compassionate energies of this dragon. One of the things, obviously being compassionate is a virtue, but one of the things that comes with compassion is accountability. And in order for you to be fully compassionate and fully wear the throne of compassion, you also have to be held accountable. The question is, we all have to be held accountable for our actions. The question is, can you be compassionate with yourself? That's the question. And so that's going to be your energy flow coming into this new year, this dragon year. You know, can you be compassionate with yourself? Can you be compassionate with others? Look at that. You got the tower moment here, right? So there's that, you know, people make mistakes. People make errors in judgment. People build things that they know has a shaky foundation. So if you do come across that tower moment, that thing or project didn't come to fruition, that relationship fell apart, you have to move because of some reason. You know, can you be compassionate with yourself under these circumstances? That's what I'm getting. You know, so compassion is going to be a huge opportunity for you to really elevate that aspect of yourself that shines from the inside, because you're used to shining from the outside as a Leo. This is going to be like, can you have compassion within yourself to shine from the inside? Beautiful. Oh my gosh. You know, this is the first time that I'm playing with these cards, and I'm really loving most of you know, and if you don't know, you'll know now. I can sense the vibrations of cards. Like I can feel, and I'm really loving the energy that it's kind of like emitting. It feels like it was done with love. There's a lot of love in this. All right, Virgo, you're up next. The Perceptionist. The Perceptionist. Fascinating, because you know, Virgos, you are the perfectionist of the zodiac, and I feel like the dragons are giving you different perspectives in life, different ways of seeing a situation, right? Like you can look at this very card and you can see, you know, there might be like a little bit, you can see this as a confrontation, you can see this as a discussion, you can see it as boredom. Over here I see a little bit of a like boredom, like, oh, we've been through this before. There was another fairy. Oh, there's another fairy over here, not even paying attention to what's going on. So there's a lot of different perspectives that you will be shown in this dragon year, you know, and it's really going to be a matter of what is it that you see? What is it that you're engaging with? What is it that you are manifesting? So you're going to be giving a lot of different perspective. At the end of the day, where are you in that perspective? Oh, passion into action. Yeah, I almost feel like this fairy doesn't have any passion. It's like, yeah, I see that. Yeah, there's a lot going on here, but there's like a lack of passion or a lack of engagement. And so for you to really start putting your passions into action, you have to start looking at these things from a different perspective. So everything that is coming up for you for this dragon year is going to be about you looking at it from a different perspective. This has a very like hanged man kind of energy, right? Like, I don't want to see this as taking too long to come to fruition. I want to see this as this is what I've put, and it will come. It is coming to fruition, right? It is. So yeah, the dragons are bringing you the lesson of perception. What are you perceiving, and also what are others perceiving about you? What are others perceiving about you? Not that you care, not that you should care what others think about you. That's really none of your business. But how you come across to others is an indication of how you are in a space. Beautiful. Should I start turning these around? Can you guys see? This lighting now is like, there you go. Guys, you should see the machinations I had to do to get this overhead camera, and you still didn't see the whole wheel, so I still have to play with that. Where am I? We are in Libra next. Libra. The Temptress. Look at that. What are you tempting? Or what's tempting you? The Temptress. I'm not even sure what to say about that, except that very same thing. Like, you know, there's the dragons are bringing you temptations. Temptations of what? I know temptations can have such a, like a kind of energy, right? But I don't know. She appears intriguing enough that there's mystery here, and I say mystery because of the dark energies, or the dark colors, which is actually a navy blue. So there's like a temptation here that's being offered, and will you fly with the dragons? Maybe that's the temptation, right? So interesting. I'm gonna have to pull this card for sure to see what this the clarification energy is. Oh, look at this. What an energy. So you've got Judgment here, right? Which is all about forgiveness. So perhaps learning the lesson, or the guidance for, you know, for this dragon year is for you to forgive yourself for any temptations that's occurred in the past. This is a big major arcana, and to see the innocence in accepting a temptation, to see the innocence. And then again, take notes. What is that? What does that combination mean to you? That's how I'm rating it, but you may have a different perspective altogether. I am noticing the wings, right? So I feel like unless I deal with this shadow aspect, whatever this is, I can't really fly. I can't really, you know, go to that. I can't really fly with the dragons if I'm not dealing with the challenges that I may have about my childhood, about innocence, about a childhood, or forgiving because the situation that unraveled was done through innocent actions. Wow, that was deep. Libras, dragons are not playing with you. They are not playing with you. They just want you to be done with this final lesson. And look at that. You know, you are the scales of justice, right? You need to balance. Maybe that's what's being called here, is it's a balance that needs to be done or accomplished. And remember, guys, when we're dealing with the dragon energies, the dragons always has, you know, they hoard the pearls, they hoard the gold. But if you find yourself worthy of receiving that, the dragons will let it go. And they bring wealth with them. They bring prosperity with them. They bring success with them, you know? So don't get overly, you know, bummed out that this year may be challenging, etc. Maybe what this is you've done the forgiveness work, and now you get to play in the mysteries, right? Now you get to go delve deeper into what this is gifting you. Scorpio, dun dun dun. The idea hatcher. Scorpio, put your ideas out there. Look at all the eggs hatching. And what's hatching is a dragon. So as I just mentioned, the dragon energy is prosperous. It's about the body engagement. It's about the body of the earth. It's about literally being in the space of abundance, right? Individuality, etc. So you are being guided to put your ideas out there. Let them hatch. Put them forward. You're good. The only thing that's going to come out of that is literally fantastical occurrences. The magic itself is going to be birthed. Yeah, look at that. Oops, you get the Prince of Wands. This is literally the creative force. If I were to say, you know, what is this? What does this card mean in Tarot? I literally would have said the Prince of Wands, because the Prince of Wands goes out and prepares and starts hatching ideas. And you'll see here with this drawing in the back, he's got just a bunch of ideas that he's going to go out there and start like experimenting with. So you're really getting a very clear indication. Go out there, hatch your ideas, put them forward, put them in motion, start creating, because you're gonna give birth to some magic here. Oof, that was nice. See, now they're going backwards, but you're not gonna be able to see it. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Okay, move on, Ingrid, move on. You're at 32 minutes. You can do it. The brat. Sagittarius, you're getting the brat. So what is this message all about? It's either you're going to be a brat or others are going to be a bratty towards you. So this feels like a very stubborn energy for me. Yeah, so how are we going to deal with this? Communicate with kindness. I'm going with that 30 there. Communicate with kindness. Learn how to just release the stubbornness. This stuff is going to happen. So that's your big lesson for 2024 with this dragon energy. You're going to be encountering brat-like energy. How are you going to deal with it? How are you going to move past it? And you might be the brat, or others might be. But communicate with kindness. That's the message that I'm getting. And one way that you can communicate with kindness and not do this confrontational bratty thing is to meditate. Put your swords down, put the mental game down, just chillax. That's the guidance for you and the dragons. They're teaching you how to do this. They're teaching you how to relax. They're teaching you how to put your swords away. Stop being such a brat sometimes. Sagittarius. It's still fun, you know. But still, it's like you're being told, we're going to teach you this year how to chill. Love it. Oh, I love these cards. Capricorn energy. The healer. Beautiful. So they're bringing, the dragon are bringing you healing energy. Healing of your body, healing of the soul, healing of the spirit. This engagement, it's so beautiful. I definitely feel it's almost like healing of your sight also. Healing how you see the world. I know it's only because she's touching, you know, the eye area. Healing how you see the world. Oh, beautiful. Healing how you see the world. And this is a 2 energy. When I see this, this is normally I see this is as an agreement with someone else that they bring the miraculous from the stars to create something amazing. When I saw it right now, I feel like don't be afraid to allow others to assist you with healing, right? Because this is done in partnership with someone else. Don't be afraid of seeking the assistance of someone else to help you with whatever it is that you need help with, because they're going to bring you some magic. They're definitely going to assist you with something that will actually in the long run turn out to be a miraculous happening. That's pretty cool. I love that, Capricorns. So cool. And again, you guys are looking at, you're going to be taking notes of your moon sign, your sun sign, and your ascendant, and then follow it accordingly. The sun sign for me is always where we're heading. I know people say, oh, that's who you are. Not for me, but you know, you do you. For me, the sun sign is where you're heading. The moon sign is your emotions, and how you can manifest is through your moon sign. And then the ascendant is how I get there. Aquarius, you're next. The pest. I almost feel like that's similar to the brat, this one here. But the pest is, you know, there's something here in 2024 that you are going to have to deal with that's going to be a little annoying. But notice the word I use, little. So let's get to it. Let's resolve it. Remember, you have this dragon energy. It's quite big to deal with the pest that's like literally in front of your face. So deal with it and move on. Let's see what the arc says about that. Yeah, tested wills. You already know how to deal with this situation. What are you waiting for? Like, the dragon's not playing around. They're like, can we deal with this little pest already? You've got the ammunition, you know the ideas, you know how to land this situation. Let's just deal with it. You've done it before. I almost feel like, the reason why this is so little is because you've actually dealt with this before. So something's coming around full circle. Let's see if you could just get rid of the pesty situation and move on and have some fun with this, right? Because tested wills is also about tried, true, tested, and I can't really fail if I've already learned how to maneuver this situation. So there's definitely success guaranteed. Last but never least, Piscean. Wow, the listener. You guys get the listener. Listen to nature. Listen to your gut. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your instincts. Listen, pay attention. What a beautiful, I think I actually had this figurine, if I'm not mistaken. I had this particular fairy, but listen, and in the listening, you will learn a new skill set. So your listening is to be taught a lesson, because it's a 13 card. So to listen is to be taught a lesson, or to learn a lesson, not taught necessarily, but to learn something that you haven't experimented with before. Listening to the dragon energy is also about listening to your body. So pay attention to how your body reacts. That's going to be that's going to be one of the key lessons for you, or gifts that the dragons are bringing you, is teaching you how to listen to your body's emotions, your body's language. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. And I was leaning more towards listening to the emotions, but that's exactly what it is, emotional connection. So listen to the emotions, listen to how you're feeling. There is the dragons are also bringing you an emotional connection with another. So unlike the Two of Wands, where I always say it's more of a soulmate situation, this is more of a emotional connection. So sometimes this is family, but it can also be a love relationship where there's more of an emotional connection and not this fiery, passionate thing, but more of an understanding, more of a deeper connection than something that can be fleeting. So this is pretty deep. Awesome. Wow, guys, I'm exhausted. I'm doing this at night. I am exhausted. But yeah, what a great, this is like such a fun, great reading, and it was such a treat for me to offer this to everyone. I'm really excited that I got to showcase my Dragon Oracle cards with you. All right, I hope you had fun. Bye.